Okay, let's head over. Oh. Is this stuff new? Oh, yeah, I think it is. Practice padlock. Can you actually just power level on this? Hang on. Let's find out. Good. Then apprentice's pick. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Wow. Okay. I don't think it also matters. I wonder what the trap was on it, you know? Come to think of it. Oh, the practice lock is spent. Oh, fuck. Alright, well, I didn't do it. When we had last left the Nerevarine, the search for the skooma supply source continued, and it led them to none other than an abandoned watchtower guard tower, which contained all manner of just people hanging out, some of whom who were formerly into skooma in a major way, all of whom were actually fairly downtrodden by the local municipality in some way or another. But it was an Nerevarine who stepped in to help, for one of their friends, a recent sort of, I don't know, person who came into their enclave, as it were, had gone and turned up missing, with lots of mysterious circumstances around them. After some investigating, they found and uncovered a strange truth, that they had fled the scene and were kind of being framed for some wrongdoing. Now it was time to say farewell to all of that, and perhaps investigate the wharf where skooma was made. This is the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Tamriel Rebuilt. This is Morrowind Mondays. Welcome back. Here we are. And let's see. Yeah, the password. What was the password? Lenu Manil told me that the Kamanatong have kidnapped an alchemist named Joker who refines skooma for them. They keep him in a hideout in the Western Wharf. The hideout can be accessed through the grate by the waterline. Manil also told me the password I need in order to get in. Hi, Ristania. Okay. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we had been in and around there. Right? Isn't that like it right there? Guess we can check on our map. Nope, that is not it. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's even got a little, yeah, Wharfside Hideout. Clever. Okay. I think as well, one of the other little extra clever things about it is probably the only giveaway
So go ahead.
is if you see the little wooden steps, ladder, or whatever, leading up to it, or if you intentionally mouse over this and see another entrance, because it's in deep enough to where it could, like at a glance, you could be like, oh, that's a door. It's just a regular door into one of the buildings here, right? So only by way of sort of mousing over it all would you be able to tell otherwise. Anyway, in we go. Hello, Palvu Brenner. I'm with the Tong. Hello. Who in oblivion are you, and how did you find this place? Do you know the password? If not, you'd better scram. I do know the password. Let's hear it. Hi, Resdania. 1, 2, 3, 4. Death to the Empire. Never mind. Hi, Resdania. How did you... Well, all right. I'll open the door for you. For your sake, I hope you've got a good reason to be here. Huh. Okay. Anything here in your barrel? No, not really. Bunch of bottles around. Can I get by you here? I can. Goya, Grief, Sheen, Tamika's Fine Cellar Wine. What did we write down about that? After I told her the password, the Kamanatong thug let me into the Wharfside Hideout. Okay. Huh. Okay. Anything else? No. Up this way. Oh yeah, the rooftop access. Guess we wouldn't need the password under these circumstances if we could sneak by. Okay. Bunch of eggs. Now, we were looking for Jokar in here. Okay, let's do a quick save in case it goes poorly. Oh. Lots of empty vials. Heavy leather boots. It is just kind of dimly lit in here. Hey, Goran Fells.
Just do whatever it is you came here to do and get out, okay?
Background?
Nothing I would tell you. Get lost.
Okay. The real Baron Zaya. Sure. I love how, like, claustrophobic it is down here. This is, right, this degree of closeness for interiors is fairly uncommon in Morrowind, right? You don't really get it until Skyrim, I feel, you know? Like, there are a few places, I think, where it exists like this, but it's pretty rare. Okay, oh, you must be, yeah.
Why do you approach?
Wow, look at all this. Dwemer mugs. Morrowind, Historia, and Dothran. Should we talk to them first or look around? 50 gold there. Glass bottle. Yeah, let's look around the other section real quick. We save just in case we, like, end up trespassing or whatever. Longbow, couple arrows. The eastern provinces with an ellipses. Ooh, how ominous. What about you?
Don't waste my time on the likes of
Ethra Tervain. Yeah, same as what we've heard. Oh shit, I can't quite get by you. That said, it doesn't seem like there is a reason to do any of that. Oh, please. Okay, well, I guess we aren't.
Go on. I can't stop you.
Okay, over here. And let's see.
You have questions?
Hey, Jokar.
Yes? What do you want of Jokar?
Are you our Jokar?
Jokar is an alchemist. The Kamana Tong kidnapped and brought Jokar to this miserable place. Jokar makes them skooma. If only Jokar could go free.
Yes, if only. Huh.
You jest. The Kamana Tong would never allow it. They'd sooner kill Jokar.
Okay, let me think.
All right.
Tell me about the illegal skooma trade.
Yes, Jokar is involved, though not out of his own volition. Without Jokar, the Kamana Tong would have no one to refine moon sugar into a skooma for them.
What do you think about the twin lamps? Okay. The same as always. What if we admire you? Anything new? Nah. Okay. Sure. So how can we get this dude out of here, I wonder? Will they just let us walk out? I highly doubt it. Right? Like, there's no shot. Let's do a quick save again. I mean, really, I should just kill them all.
No, warmly greeted friends.
Okay.
Welcome.
Jokar, let's see if we can go and just walk the fuck out of here. Keep calm and follow me.
All right. Jokar trusts you. Lead the way.
Okay. I'm guessing we'll get stopped at, like, the door or something. Oh!
You will die! Now you die!
Okay. Jeez! Hold tight there, Jokar! Whew! Holy hell.
Lead the way. Jokar will follow. Jokar. Jokar is an alchemist.
Go free.
The thugs are dead. Thank you. Lead the way. Jokar will follow.
Okay, well, did they have anything good? They had drugs. Okay. Iron dagger. Hideout key. Iron morning star. More moon sugar. Another key. Netch leather cuirass. What about you? More moon sugar. Skooma. Okay. Sure. Jokar, do you mind if we look down this way? Yeah, it looks like there's some money. Okay, hang on, Jokar. Do you want some of this stuff, dude? We should maybe, like, take all this and split it. There's Nord mead, skooma pipe, bunch of arrows, whole lot of, like, silver weapons. Okay. I'll take the throwing ones. Why not? More money, a soul gem, I'll take all that. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh no, Jokar. Oh look, is this like their piss jug? Oh, Jokar, no, we're fucked, dude. Jokar, I can't get out of here now. Okay. Oh god. This is why they didn't have a lot of claustrophobic interiors, you know? Okay. I also do have the cylinder stuff set on in OpenMW to help prevent this, but it like I said, it's so like tight quarters, it's so claustrophobic, it doesn't even matter. Okay, well, we'll do one of those. Good. On the flip side, though, when Tamriel Rebuilt is being made, it's only on PC, right? So you can kind of, ooh, a scrib pie, 20 of them. You can kind of just make it knowing that, oh my gosh, look at that. We're gonna get so many alchemy levels. But you can kind of just make it in knowing that if your players get stuck, it's fine. The vast majority of players will, you know, if they've managed to install a mod like OpenMW and Tamriel Rebuilt, they probably know, like, toggling clipping, you know? Okay. Alright, we won't take any more alchemical reagents unless there's like a big stack like this. Okay. Great. More moon sugar. I will just take that. Oh my gosh. Look at all this stuff. Are we gonna get another alchemy level just from being in here? Okay. Over here. Nope, those aren't worth it. 1 money. Empty files. Salt rice. Honestly, I'm surprised that the like manufacturing area is not, it's pretty small, you know? It's very like under the radar. I was expecting something a lot closer to, oh, what was it? It was like a hist tree or something from Oblivion. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Fighters Guild quest in Oblivion? I was expecting kind of a complex like that. Okay, but yeah, the first time we ran through here, we pretty much saw the vast majority of it. If not all of it. Okay, taking all that. Jokar, you got anything in here that you want before we leave? You want to take any of this with you? They ain't even got you using, like, good equipment. That's wild, man. I'm gonna take the Morrowind Historia and Dothrin. Okay. Sure. Okay. Great. I love as well, once again, more like this happened before, but once again, the Kamana Tong, just like an openly racist, xenophobic organization, must rely on a Khajiit alchemist in order to produce their product. I do very much enjoy that. Okay. Little poop bucket here, I presume. Broken broadsword and short sword. Alright. Bolts of cloth. Lots of pants. Whoa! Whole lot of different eggs. Llama eggs and mole crab and an ornata, right? Yeah. I had to eat those eggs. More pants. Scuttle. Salt rice. We gotta be close to another alchemy level, huh? Okay. Ooh, 10 salt rice. Anything here? Oh, kwama meat. More eggs. There we are. Man, we got at least an entire level out of this place. And then some. That's incredible. Okay. Well, let's actually exit out here. Do a quick save. Hey there.
May you walk on warm sands.
Are you gonna be okay to navigate this, actually? You know what, maybe you aren't. Do I need to talk to you?
We're out of that miserable place. Why did you help Jokar?
Let's see. Illegal skooma trade?
Without Jokar, the Kamana Tong will have no one to make skooma for them. They will lose so much gold, and they will be so angry. Jokar is glad.
Would you help us take over the business? I'm glad that I could help.
Yes, thanks to you, Jokar can finally leave this cursed province behind. There's life to be lived elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
Goodbye, Lyle Schnub. May you walk on warm sands.
Okay. Can I ask you about anything else? Let's see, go free.
Jokar is free now, thanks to you.
Illegal skooma trade. Jokar is glad. Let's do a quick save, just in case asking this sends us down here. Take over the province.
You would have Jokar stay in Andorran and continue making skooma for you. No, Jokar is tired of this cursed province. There is life to be lived elsewhere. Jokar will leave Morrowind for good, but Jokar has friends in the Elsewhere mission who can help you.
Friends in the Elsewhere mission?
Yes, friends who will be happy to see Jokar again. They can reward your kindness. The embassy in Old Ebonheart has a special license to import our sacred sugar for religious purposes, you see. There is a lot of it, Jokar knows. Jokar will tell the friends in the embassy of what you did. They will gladly sell you some of the sugar. Where can Jokar's friends find you?
In the Hall of False Keys in Bethwangtov. No, I want nothing to do with this. Huh. I mean, like I said, I would gladly sell sugar, but it seems like we are literally going into the skooma trade here, right? Like we are buying the skooma to distill it. No, I want nothing to do with this. Oh.
Jokar is glad to hear you say that. Thank you again, Lyle Schnub. May you walk on warm sands.
Huh. Okay, even Jokar appreciates it. There we are. Good. And then let's head on back to Bethlongthov. I love the idea that that is how they're, like, importing, or at least in this section, how they're importing moon sugar from elsewhere into the province, you know? I love that it's under religious connotation. It's not all too dissimilar from other things doing it for medical purposes, you know? Okay. Over here. Good. And then, let's see. After I convinced Jokar to follow me. Jokar thanked me for helping him go free. This should be enough to disrupt the illegal skooma trade in Andothran. Okay. Sure. Now let's head on over here. Oop. Jump over that. Cool. Okay. Well. Hey. Marug, anything new? No?
How may I help you, Gunner?
What about you, Realmus? Very own moonshine, right? Okay. And Tatara? Anything new? Nope. Okay, let's head over. Oh. Is this stuff new? Oh, yeah, I think it is. Practice padlock. Can you actually just power level on this? Hang on. Let's find out. Good. Then apprentice's pick. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Wow. Okay. I don't think it also matters. I wonder what the trap was on it, you know? Come to think of it. Oh! The practice lock is spent. Oh, fuck. Okay. Alright, well, I didn't do it. Oh, proper lock design and construction. Okay, well, we definitely have not read this one then. Unless that one's from a different game. Sort of made retroactively available. Paralyzing steel darts? Yo, okay. Travel lanterns. Are the banners new? I think they are. And it's looking so nice. It's looking really nice in here. Okay. Shay.
Yes, honored guest.
Find a way to disrupt the illegal skooma trade in Andothran. Be careful, operative.
Can we, well, I've done it.
Our enemies aren't getting any more skooma. That's good. Well done, operative. The Kamana Tong will be agitated and out for our blood now. They'll be looking for anyone that even remotely looks like they could be a member of the Thieves Guild. Make sure to be careful when you walk the streets of Andothran, even more so than before, okay? Now, about new jobs.
Okay, jobs.
I got word from Three Eyes. They've got something for you.
Okay.
Three Eyes says they might have a job for you. Go to Angunas's pawn shop and see what it is.
Okay, and then we can ask about the guild's standing in Andothran?
We've wrestled the illegal skooma trade out the hands of the Kamana Tong. That's good, but we must be careful. If we reignite the gang war here, we're still likely to lose.
Okay, well, what about the skooma trade itself?
You put an end to the skooma trade. Well done.
How about improving the hideout?
I hope you like the improvements I've made to the hideout. I thought that having training equipment would be useful to have.
It was, but I've used it up. I've already, I hope no one else needed training, because I've completely used it myself. Okay. Yeah, it does look lovely. There's more shroomages going on too, or they've regrown. Okay. Sure. Let's make the rounds here. Tatara, anything else with you? Nope. Realmus? Nope. Okay. You don't happen to sell anything new, do you? The illegal Jink Blade. That makes sense. It's in your inventory. Okay. Sure. A lot of bread. Okay, Marug? Anything new with you? Services refusal.
I mean, no disrespect, boss, but I'm not comfortable offering my services to you while you have skooma on you.
Okay, fair enough.
You're not what I expected.
Well, I guess we'll drop off our drugs somewhere. We can go put them at our house, right? I feel like we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop and to get attacked now by the Kamana Tong, you know? Okay. Over here. Should we check in with you all? Huh.
At least things can't get much worse than they already are.
You want something? I suppose I can answer your questions, skooma. You have skooma on you, I see. Keep that vile poison away from me and the other squatters. It turns people into its slaves, consuming their waking thoughts and ruins their lives. Right. Okay.
Speak, traveler.
I love that you can...
Quickly, Outlander.
You have agency here as well, with what type of Thieves Guild you want to run, you know? Do you want to be one of the more egalitarian sort of Thieves Guilds, as are seen in Morrowind and Oblivion? Or do you want to be more along the sort of like mob that is seen in at least the early parts of the Skyrim Thieves Guild, you know? Okay, well, let's put our shit down here. Skooma, we'll put that right there. Sugar, we'll put that right there. Great. Okay. And we can go pay Three Eyes a visit. Yeah, I'm very much loving everything to do with this Thieves Guild arc, right? Not just from how much reactivity and then player agency you have, but just like the narrative turns and like the overarching themes at play here. It's superb. Okay. Like it uses so many of the building blocks. Uh-oh. Oh shit! It's the fucking Tong! Oh. Oi! You there! Damn Enwa! The hammer of the Kamana Tong falls on you! We'll see about that. You know how many assassins I get attacked by on a daily basis? A lot. Killed right in front of the temple. Okay. Damn. Let's see. Let's get some healing going on if we can too. Alright. Oh, and this is right by... Isn't that Angunas's right there? No, not quite. I forget, where is Angunas located again? Oh, over around this way. Sure. Okay. But yeah, it uses so many of the cool building blocks that were made in the core game, but only very slightly were touched upon, you know? If they were, either were completely just ignored and made, or just used in like 1 or 2 quest arcs. You know, really compelling stuff that makes it to where it's like, oh yeah, the fucking world building here is off the charts. But there's actually very little that gets to explore the incredible world building. And then Tamriel Rebuilt kind of makes good on that. I don't know if I'd call it promise, but it makes good on that world building, you know? It actually goes and does a lot of interesting things with it so far. And I'm very excited to see how much more they delve into it, you know? Okay. Anything new, Angunas?
From where do you hail?
I am here to see Three Eyes. Okay. Nothing new. Hello, Three Eyes?
Yes. We are glad to see you, Lyle Schnub. Do you have goods you wish to sell us? Or is this about jobs?
This is about jobs.
We got a note from Vermilius Vendici's manor. Vendici has a job for you. Seems to us you've got yourself a rich patron. Do whatever he asks you to do, and after that, we think then might be a good time for you to ask for Vendici's help so you can accomplish your special job.
What's my special job?
You have a secret mission, yes? We could tell. Why else would your guild return to Andothran? You're trying to find the person who ordered the massacre at the Dusky Elite. You will not find that person easily, we're afraid. But Vermilius Vendici has connections to the criminal underworld. We think we might be able to give you some information. He will not give it for free, though.
Okay, good talk. You have anything else here that's... we could pawn off the skooma here if we wanted. Do we need money? Let's see. Maybe we need some money. Okay, should we go get the skooma and sugar? He may not buy skooma. No, he does. Okay. Or they do. My bad. Let's head on out. Over here. This way. And then let's go pick up our drugs and pawn them off. Oh shit. More of the fucking tong. Okay.
Hey you! You're one of them Thieves Guild members, aren't you? I bet you are. You Outlander pieces of scum should have stayed away from Andothran. The Kamonatong will have your heads.
Did we pull another? No. Dope. Almus Drom. I think these are completely new characters, right? They haven't been out here before. That said, maybe I just haven't noticed them. Okay. Then up this way. Over here. Great. And then... let's see. Let's get all of our drugs back. Cool. They may not even have enough money to buy all these drugs. It's gotta be said. It is quite the haul. Okay, over here. Great. I wonder how many of the Tong agents are out here now. I would guess rule of threes. You know, there's probably one more up by Vendici's manor. Okay. Then over here. I don't know. It feels fitting to make use of Three Eyes' fencing service. You know? Okay, over here. And let's do a little... oh.
We do not touch moon sugar. It blurs our sight.
Oh, I like that. Will they also speak on the rest of it too? Will you trade for skooma? Oh, same. Oh. I like that. But at the same time,
From what you hear,
Three Eyes is selling moon sugar and skooma. You know? At the same time, that maybe is like an oversight or something. Maybe there's like a classification of inventory loadout where it's like, oh, this is a Thieves Guild fence contact or whatever, right? And then you sort of assign it in the back end. It's like, okay, this is a pool of randomly generated, like, criminal underworld classified vendors inventory, right? And thus, you can have skooma or moon sugar present there. Okay. Great. Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that so many of the Khajiit and Argonian characters here are like, yeah, this shit's pretty fucking bad, right? I won't even fuck around with it. And you know what? I'm glad that you decided to not fuck around with it, right? Okay. Head over here to Vendici's place at least. Yeah, I remember there was someone standing out here in the streets already who hassled us. I have to imagine that they'll just openly attack now. Was it this person? I think it was. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Sure.
go ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
It's going through, well, no, the bottom.
You
Okay.
want something?
It's fine with me. Go
Let's see,
ahead.
what did we write down? Shay congratulated me for successfully disrupting the Kamanatong's illegal skooma trade. She did warn me to be careful when I'm in Andothran, because the Kamanatong will most likely want revenge. Shay told me to go and see Three Eyes. Three Eyes told me that Vermilius Vendici has a job for me. Okay, what's the work? I want my private letters back. Okay, what's your private letters? Yes. The letters I wrote to... I can't bear to talk about it, damn it all. Talk to Valsverano. He's saying he'll make the problem go away. Okay. Payment for the axe? You were paid, right? Right. Then don't bother me with this anymore. Councilman Thorocles Romus? Ah, yes, you mean the traitor who got his head cut off with the axe. A nobody, I'm told. Got his name disgraced, and he lost his seat on the Elder Council after the assassination of Empress Morihatha. Valsverano. I'm beginning to think he likes to talk too much. Not enough action. Now, Aspisphagus Thrix, on the other hand, that man gets things done. And you get things done too, don't you? Huh. Maybe this person is a Kamanatong agent. Talks too much. I value actions more than words. Just talking and thinking and doing nothing gets you nowhere in life. Special job? What special job? I'm trying to find the local Kamanatong boss. Never mind. Okay. Let's see. Let's head on up here. Uh-oh. Oh, they're stuck back there, I remember.
Get out of here.
And then...
Greetings,
Let's see,
Outlander.
what did we write down?
Don't I know you from somewhere?
Seemingly too agitated to brief me, Vermilius Vendici told me to speak with Valsverano about some private letters. Okay. Hey.
I see Three Eyes was able to reach you, courier. That is good. Sergio Vendici has a job for you. We need you to recover some lost private letters.
Private letters?
Yes, 3 letters to be precise, written and sent by Sergio Vendici to someone here in Andothran. We are anxious to get them back. Currently they are in the possession of Devara Diran, their recipient.
Oh, the recipient? Dervara Diran?
She's a courtesan of some note, an old friend of Sergio Vendici's. over the years, she and Sergio Vendici have had a number of meetings together, some of which have lasted overnight. However, their relationship seems to have turned sour. Diren is threatening to blackmail him.
Okay. Threatening to blackmail.
Sergio Vendici is not only rich, but he's also a married man. You see why he'd make a good target for blackmail. Now, Sergio Vendici says he wants this problem to go away. You do understand all the troubling connotations of the phrase, yes? His initial impulse was to send his brute, Episphagus Thrix, to take care of it. It would have been ugly. However, I managed to convince him that violence would be unnecessary. We only need to get the letters back, and for that, we need a thief. Oh, don't deny it. You are a thief, aren't you? And since you work for Three Eyes, you must also be a skilled one. I need you to find the letters for us. Without them, Devara Diren has no real leverage. Her house is in South Andothran. You'll recognize it by a red lantern by the door. Return with the letters, and you'll be rewarded. 1,000 septims per letter.
Okay. We can ask about more stuff here. Executed for treason? Oh, okay. Married man. Is the same as before.
Yes, Sergio Vendici is married. That is a key issue with the private letters he sent to Devara Diran. His lady wife is in Cyrodiil. I've never had the pleasure to make her acquaintance. To my knowledge, she's a rich woman in her own right. Made her fortune with salt mining, if I'm not mistaken.
Made her fortune with salt mining. Is that like a direct future reference to someone who, like a rich woman who is into salt mining in Oblivion? That we would know? Because I can't think of any off the top of my head. Okay. Well, how about threatening to blackmail?
I need you to find the letters for us. Without them, Devara Diran has no real leverage.
Okay, same. Let's see. Talk too much. I heard that you talk too much.
Perhaps I do. Sergio Vendici certainly would rather have me just listen. But I do have a lot of time to just think. These thoughts and ideas, when they're inside my head, they're somehow muddy and formless. So what I find is that sometimes talking to people helps. It gives my thoughts form, just to say them out loud. It makes for clearer thinking, I think, like separating the wheat from the chaff.
Okay. And anything else? Services?
Yes, we have work for you.
Okay. Good talk. Valsverano told me to recover some private letters belonging to Vermilius Vendici. They're currently in the possession of Devara Diren, who's supposedly threatening to blackmail Vendici. Diren's house is in South Andothran and has a red lantern by its door. Red light, you know what I'm saying? Red light, eh? Oh, whoops. Okay. Let's head on back down. Good. I'm very curious to get in his, private study and see what all's going on there. Part of me wonders if this design is meant to be anything.
Talk if you're.
Are these, 9 spokes coming off of a big centerpiece? 3, 6... Well, 2, 4, 6, 8... No, there's way too many. Yeah, I don't know what it's meant to be. And there's one in the center, kind of shooting up. I would have thought it would be like the 9 divines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's just way too many. I don't know. Maybe it's just meant to be a fun design. Right? Sort of like this one. Okay. I do like them. Alright, let's head on out. Oh. Episphagus Thrix. Psst. Lyle Schnub, come here. I want to have a word about the job you were told to do. Okay.
Yes, Outlander, what do you
Hey.
want?
If you care to talk, I would consider it a privilege.
Yes, I want to have a word with you about the private letters, if you please. I've got a proposition for you. Private letters? Lady Vendici knows of his husband's unfaithfulness and has asked me to bring her the letters. Now, I know you're a skillful guy. I know you'll find them no problem. When you do, I need you to give them to me. Spin some story for Vermilius Vendici that they were already burned to ashes. How much they said they'd pay you? 1,000 septums per letter? Lady Vendici has given me a generous price. I'll match their offer, and you'll get a bonus of knowing you did the right thing. Think about it. But how will we get the information we need regardless? I mean, I guess if he thinks that, they were burned, right? Huh. Okay. Married man. Vendici thinks he can cover his tracks and patch things up with his wife, if he can get rid of the private letters to Devara Diran. But Lady Vendici already knows of her husband's unfaithfulness, and is preparing to put an end to their marriage. Her advisors have told her that the letters would be important evidence when the time comes to divide their fortune. Proof of reckless misuse of their shared funds, they say. Company of a registered guild courtesan isn't cheap. There's a lot of gold at stake. There's a guild of courtesans? Okay. Vendici family. The rest of the family know that Vermilius is a buffoon. Once he's no longer a married man, they will gladly move him to the sidelines and let her wife take over and oversee his business. Vermilius Vendici. My job is to look after him, but my allegiance is to the Vendici family, not to him personally. I see. Yeah, I think we could have our cake and eat it too, right? I think we could screw him over in the long term, because sometime we'll need to proceed. And then we could get information out of him. Granted, Valsverano will probably know that we betrayed him, right? I feel like there's no way that Valsverano will not know what we have done. It's just a matter of, let's have it get messy, right? It's gonna get fucking messy. Let's do it. Let's rat him out. Because not only should he be ratted out on the principle of him being, like, unfaithful, but in general, he's a piece of shit, right? He's an asshole. Regardless of whether or not he wanted to cheat on his wife, I still, like, even not knowing that, I wanted to take this guy down, right? Okay. Huh. Yeah. Let's have things get messy. Like I said, I think Valsverano will totally know. This is how things get fucking messy. Alright. Well, I suppose when next we come back, things will get a little messy. However, of course, if you would like to stick around, we will be doing a little bit of reading. And what are we reading this time but... Let's see. Confessions and Last Resort. Or I guess we could go back to the guild and read that, lockbook. Nah, we'll hold off. Okay. Confessions and Last Resort. A medium-length raid. Okay. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to take a quick drink here. Apologies. Final Confessions and Last Resort. Solar Nedendan. I am ashamed. I never thought it would come to this. I am broken, sobbing, and desperate. I am a shadow of the man I once was. My dignity is gone. I have nothing left in this life. Everything that I've loved or cared about is gone from me. This is my final testament. My life was not always so. Once, I was a respected Mer of House Indoril, and a temple ordinator on top of that. Such was my skill and standing that I was stationed nowhere other than Vivek City at the High Fane, where I frequently policed the St. Olm's Canton. I spent the first 60 years of my service as an ordinator on that patrol. Ooh, an ordinator perspective. Okay. I very much built my Skyrim character with it being in mind that they were a former ordinator. My record was exceptional. I managed to arrest some of the most notorious criminals in the city, including a band of Morag Tong impersonators, and a thief who bad been robbing Hlalu nobles blind. Oh, who had been. Okay, typo. When I celebrated my 150th birthday, the temple announced a raid against a series of Daedric shrines in the Ascadian Isles region. I was one of the first ordinators selected for the duty. I was honored beyond words at my promotion. 3 days later, I found myself amongst 29 of my Indoril kin, all of us fully armored, sailing on the 3 ships that carried us on the raid. Our first target was on a small island to the west of Vivek. We attacked under the cover of darkness, slaughtering the handful of followers with no losses ourselves. We then set about burning their books and destroying everything else the temple had labeled as heretical. Our final action was to topple the statue of Mehrunes Dagon. We left the shrine in a broken, burning wreck. And so it went on like this for a month. We attacked and destroyed 12 bases for Daedra worshippers, losing only 6 of our brothers. Each of our kin that fell did so in the most glorious and honorable of ways, fighting to the last breath against the enemies of the Tribunal Temple. Our final target was far south of Tel Brenora. It was the largest shrine we had encountered yet. Even in the dead of night, the infernal place seemed to glow with a sickening light. We anchored and rushed at the entrance to the shrine, seeing only one guard on duty. We came at him. A look of sheer delight crossed his face.
Visitors come to kill us all. Take our heads, friends. They're no good to us anyhow. Leave our feet, though. We can't dance without our feet.
He broke into a fit of laughter and fell to the ground, holding his sides as tears poured down his face. I ended his life, feeling a mix of utter revulsion and pity. We stormed into the shrine, cutting down dozens of the worshippers. As we reached the first room of the shrine, we saw Khajiit and Argonians, dressed as House Dre's nobles, and Dunmer, dressed as slaves, crawling on the ground. The beasts were pretending to whip the Dunmer, and all were giggling at what they must have viewed as a highly comedic play. We cut them all down before they registered our presence. In the second room, men and Mer were wearing pants on their arms, shirts on their legs, shoes on their hands, and gloves on their feet. They were all dancing in perfect synchronization with each other, although no music could be heard. Unlike the previous room, these loons turned on us the moment we opened the door, attacking us with bare hands and claws. Some even bit into our armor. The fight lasted only a few minutes, and although none of us were killed, 2 of our men received broken limbs, and 1 was knocked unconscious. We split up, 10 of us going left and 11 going right. I was one of those that went right, and we passed through several rooms with no event. Eventually we entered a small room. It appeared empty, but as the last of us passed through the doorway, the door slammed shut behind us, and 3 golden saints materialized out of thin air and laid into us. Our ebony weapons met their Daedric blades, and we were able to send them back to oblivion, but not before losing 7 comrades. Okay, so then how many do they have left? 4 on that side. We were disheartened, but forced ourselves to push on. We finally entered the main room of the shrine. The room was dominated by a huge statue to the mad god. What we saw in this room horrified us. Children, no older than 8, were playing with the corpses of our brothers that had separated from us. Some were wearing pieces of Indoril armor, pretending to be ordinators themselves. Others were jumping up and down on the dead bodies, squealing in delight. I saw one using a severed head as a puppet. Our rage and horror were beyond words. In our state of blind fury, we ran into the room, hacking the children to pieces. Some cried as we attacked, others laughed. Some simply sat and stared at us. Of the 30 of us that had set out, there were 7 of us left, 3 of which were injured. We backtracked and recovered our injured brothers and brought them to the main room of the shrine. We set about our work with heavy hearts, burning the books and destroying the blasphemous material. When it came to toppling the statue, it took us 2 hours. While 20 of us could have done it in a matter of minutes, the handful of us that remained had quite a difficult time. By this point, our unconscious brother had regained his senses and was able to help us. For the entire 2 hours we were working to bring down the statue. I felt its eyes on me. Each time I looked up at it, it was staring straight back at me, a cocky smile on its face. Even as its ankles cracked and it fell off its base, I swear it was staring at me, all the way down on its fall to the floor. The 7 of us returned to Vivek and were celebrated as heroes. I was able to retire to a small house in Methrin Run. Life was treating me well. I met a weaver's daughter and married her. We had a son together. I was truly happy. Then the voices started. They were subtle at first, whispering strange suggestions into my ears at the most bizarre times. At the market, I would suddenly get the urge to throw fruit at someone for the comic value. My mind would tell me to trip a woman carrying a box of glasses, just to see them shatter. A voice would provoke me to start singing and dancing in the middle of a crowded bazaar. Silly stuff, really. Although, I now realize I should have immediately gone to the temple for help. I paid the voices no heed. Even though, as the years went by, the voices became more numerous and insistent, I still did not obey them. I believe this was the turning point in my life, where I officially started down the path of madness. At the time, I did not realize it, but I now know that when I was refusing to obey the voices, I would do so out loud. Oh, what my wife and son must have thought of me then. A decorated ordinator and member of House Indoril, talking to himself about the most ridiculous of subjects. The voices began to control me, however. It came to a point where I could no longer tell the voices from my own intuition and reason. Those days were my most shameful. I have no recollection of what I did. The acts of madness that I undoubtedly committed were as normal to me as working in my garden. All I know is that by the time I regained my distinction of reality and insanity, my wife and son had left me. I never saw or heard from them again. I slipped into a deep depression. The voice no longer spoke to me. I was left to exist in the ruins of what my madness had left me. I had created multiple drawings of smiling faces on the wall by stabbing the wood with a fork thousands of times. I had somehow attached all my furniture to the ceiling. My urns had been broken open, and the pieces had been glued back together to form a giant sculpture of a fish. And the worst part was that I felt lonely without the voices. As much as it sickened me, I knew, deep down, that the voices were what kept me company. I was happy when I was mad, and now that the voices were gone, I was depressed. It was horrible, but I actually began to wish for the voices to come back. Each day was worse than the last, After a few months, I was reduced to a mewing wreck, curled into a sobbing ball on the floor, whispering through tears for the sweet madness to take me away from this horrible, lonely world that it had created for me in the first place. And I remained, in solitude, for more days than I could count. I awoke one morning to the sun on my face, stinging my red, dry eyes. I rose off the hard floor of my house and made my way to a cupboard where I had some pieces of stale bread. I took out the remainder of my food and set it on the counter next to my water basin. I would have to get more later, meaning I would have to leave my house and expose myself to the outside world. I was afraid. People whispered about me behind my back. I looked at my reflection in the water basin. My skin was dirty and sagging off my thin face. My eyes were sunken deep into my skull, and I had lost most of my hair. The tips of my ears were beginning to droop, and I stared into that water basin for longer than I can recall. I must have dozed off. When I came back to my senses, I saw that a different face was in the basin. It was handsome, with a well-trimmed goatee, carefully groomed hair, and piercing eyes. The face in the basin smiled at me. "Boo," it said. I almost had a heart attack. By the time I was done screaming, the basin was flipped over with the last of my clean water until the next rainfall absorbing into the floorboards. My heart was slamming in my chest, and I was heaving to catch my breath. Did I imagine that? No, you did not, dear Solar. That voice. It was as if all the voices were speaking to me again. But it was a single voice. I searched around the room for the source. I didn't see it at first. Then I looked up at my ceiling, sitting on a chair fastened to the ceiling. Quite upside down was an apparition of what could only be the laughing god. He regarded me from the ceiling, smiling a wicked half-smile, and floated out of the chair. He rotated in midair, righting himself as he sat down on the floor in front of me. The way he stood, one hand on his hip, one resting on his cane, brought a flashback of all those years ago, when I was in the service of the temple, as an ordinator, of the statue that I and my 6 comrades had to bring down by ourselves. It was him. I can't do a Wes Johnson Sheogorath.
Oh, dear boy, don't look so shocked. I thought you would be glad to hear my voice again, let alone see my apparition.
I was stammering for words. Was this what I had prayed for?
I'll be honest, old boy. I'm a busy Daedra. I have work to do. I offer you a choice. You can come with me and be lost in the delightful madnesses that I will bestow upon you, or you can stay here and be miserable.
My mind raced. The implications of his words set in. Yes, this was the mad god standing in front of me. Yes, he was offering to answer my prayers. Then why was I hesitating? Honor? Did I still have honor? Yes, I did. Not much, but I did. I gathered my courage and spoke to him.
Come back in a day. I need to take care of a few things. Then I will give myself to you.
Fair enough, but do be ready when I get here. I don't like to be kept waiting. There is far too much fun to be had to just sit around and wait all day.
With that, he was gone. I searched my house frantically for ink and a pen and paper. What I wrote then is what you are reading now. I stayed up for 24 hours straight, organizing my thoughts and writing them down. So this is it. My last confessions to my Indoril and Temple brethren. I'm sorry. For every year I was in service to the both of you, I was happier than I could have imagined. May Great House Indoril and the Holy Tribunal Temple live on to see the end of this world, and beyond that too. Although I have failed you both, I owe you as well. While I may not have fallen from grace had I not been an ordinator, my life would not have been filled with the righteous thrill that one can only get from doing the holy work of the tribunal. Bless them thrice each and thrice again. To my wife and son, whose names I'm not fit to even write, for they have brought me too much joy to measure, I hope you have moved on and found a better life away from the raving madman that was once your husband and father. I never wanted anything but the best for you, and I hope that when I die, I can look upon you from the next life and see you smile. And to the reader, I have an explanation. I am not happy to join the ranks of loons that serve the laughing god. It has become a necessity. I have nothing left in this world. I hope that as I join the mad god and lose my mind, one day a warrior of the temple will come and take my life, as I did so many years ago. Perhaps then I shall be absolved from my sins, and my spirit will be able to join my ancestors. It has been 24 hours. I see him now, standing in the corner, twirling his cane idly. I best not keep him waiting. I never thought that my last resort would be to allow a Daedra to take my mind. May the Holy Tribunal have mercy upon me. Farewell, Solar Nedendon, kinsman of the Great House Indoril, diviner of the Tribunal Temple, loving father and husband, disgraced and a failure, to be absolved in death.
Oh my god! That was incredible! Holy shit, that was amazing! Oh my gosh. Holy fuck, that was fucking perfect, I would say. That's like, I've talked about this before in other Elder Scrolls games. When we're doing relevant quests like Sheogorath, Daedra quests, or during the Shivering Isles. But this is like my favorite interpretation when it's a lot more dark and serious, right? When Sheogorath is kind of about that, and it's sort of, there's that self-reflection of like losing yourself and the horror of it, you know? Where it's more of, I don't know, it's more like eldritch horror, and it's treated with like the right amount of gravity rather than being kind of jokey, because I think you can run into issues when like talking about like madness and losing your mind and like having actual like severe mental illnesses caused by a Daedric prince, which we see a lot of in the Shivering Isles expansion. It can be handled really like poorly, right? There's a very difficult balance to it, right? The safe route is to just have it be jokey, where you don't really contend with the more serious and terrifying aspects of it. But if you do want to contend with it, you do need to treat it with like that correct gravity that doesn't like, you know, I don't know, isn't disrespectful to people who really do go through stuff like that, because this affords like an interesting insight and way to like, I don't know, write about such things, right? Like we had seen this person like descending into like a really horrible depression and whatnot. It's the way in which it's treated is so well done, right? And I would love it if more of the core games, honestly, whenever we did do Sheogorath stuff, it was less like, the very jokey stuff. But that was on the periphery, with this being the focus, right? Because just in this, right, they still have the goofy, weird stuff like, oh, people were wearing shoes on their hands and stuff. Oh, I was throwing, like, food at people just for the sheer comic relief of it, right, when he wrote that. But although that was, like, otherwise a comedic moment, right, and that was the reason why he was doing it, the entire perspective of the story
was that of sort of analyzing the horror of it as you were becoming like a different person. You're like losing yourself to it, you know? I thought it was very well handled, I think, you know? Like I said, you run into a lot of difficulty in portraying Sheogorath with having too much levity and just strictly being like a jokey character, right? Just being like, oh, cheese for everyone or whatever, right? And like, not only is it can like veer into the territory of being disrespectful, but it can veer into the territory of just getting kind of old and trite, you know? I think this is what they accomplished, whoever wrote this, like not the character, but like whoever wrote this in reality, very, very much sort of walked that fine line. And I think it is very difficult to pull off, right? Which is why we've seen so little of it. Right, even in the Shivering Isles, where they try to, like, they do try to be dark about it, but I don't know, it doesn't have the same, it very rarely had the same sort of gravity about it, you know? That's one of my main criticisms of the Shivering Isles, like, as cool and, like, weird as it is from the rest of the game, I actually don't like it that much. I think, like, when it tries to be dark in the Shivering Isles, it's just too dark for the sake of being dark, like too shock value-y, without having some form of, I don't know, introspection on someone's psyche, you know, or some sort of dramatic irony or whatever. Something like that is lacking. And on the flip side, other times it can be a little too jokey, which is okay, right? It's not a problem, but like I said, at least for myself, it rarely does that kind of thing like land for me, right? The jokiness of it. I think it works when like that sort of campiness and jokiness of it works when that is wielded not with the intention of being like funny per se, right? But more so the focus is on like, yeah, we get that this is campy and this is kind of stupid and silly and frivolous, but that is part and parcel like this character or witnessing someone sort of losing themselves to this, right? Someone sort of losing themselves to this, like, weird sensation, this phenomenon, you know? I don't know, it's difficult to explain. Like, it is such a difficult thing to pull off, I think, reliably, to sort of write in that way, you know? It's such a fine line, and I don't know, I feel like having Sheogorath he's such a difficult character to write because of it, right? Because, like I said, you veer one direction too much, it gets kind of problematic. You veer another direction too much, it gets too jokey, it gets too, like, tired, you know? Just like, hey, this is the LOL so random guy, you know? It's difficult to land. But I feel like by way of sort of having those comedic elements be more of the background and not the focus, not like, isn't it funny that he's doing this? Or it's more so should be like, isn't it horrifying that this person is behaving in such a discordant way? You know, I don't know. Like less have it less be about it being comedic and more about it being discordant from their true self, right? Have it be like they're changing, that they are losing themselves to this like sensation, this phenomenon or whatever, right? Like there's some horrifying something at play within them, you know? Like I said, it's such a difficult line to walk, and I'm not, like I said, it's so difficult, I'm not even sure how you would do it myself, right? Like I don't even know entirely, but you can very obviously see when it's done very well, right? Even if you yourself cannot quite articulate or accomplish it yourself, you can very clearly see the difference between when someone does nail it and when someone definitely does not, right? I don't know. It's very difficult, right? It's very challenging. I don't know. I want to say that there was some of that present in the Shivering Isles itself in the DLC for Oblivion, but I don't know. My experiences with that was that it was very few and far between, and like I said, some of it veered into being like, I don't know, we're joking about like people being driven to suicide, right? And it's treated as like a jokey, funny moment, like a gaffe or whatever, when instead it should be framed as being like, yeah, these people are treating it as jokey or whatever, but that is not the way that the audience is meant to see it. They're meant to see the character behaving in a jokey, weird, kooky manner, but the audience reads it as horrifying, right? There should be that disconnect, that discordance, that dissonance, you know? And how you achieve that, I don't fucking know entirely, right? I feel like it's very difficult to just do that and do it a lot in order to fill an entire DLC, you know? But that's sort of like my thinking on like Sheogorath in general, you know? And like I said, I don't necessarily fault anyone for sort of leaning into like, oh, this is just a goofy trope or whatever, right? Because sometimes that can work within the right context, right? Like, it can be funny and function well when it's surrounded by other serious things, right? Like, it works if everything else around it is kind of like dour and grim. It can work as comic relief, but it's so much better when it works as horror, I think, you know? When it works as, like, sort of an analysis into someone's psyche or whatever, you know? I don't know. It's such a difficult line to walk. Like I said, I keep going back to that. Anyway, incredible book. I feel like they absolutely fucking nailed it. Honestly, I feel like they fucking nailed it, right? That's exactly what I like and enjoy in any sort of narrative involving Sheogorath, you know? Otherwise, like I said, Sheogorath is maybe one of my lesser favorited Daedric princes. I think he's kind of overrated, right? I think, like, which no like fault to Wes Johnson or whatever. He ain't the writer or whatever, you know. Fucking love Wes Johnson, of course. Dude is like endearing as hell and is effectively like an Elder Scrolls or BGS brand ambassador. But just the character of Sheogorath, very difficult to pull off, right? And I think very rarely executed properly. You know, there's a certain darkness to it that isn't it can't just be dark for the sake of being dark, you know? There's a particular sort of horror of witnessing the change of it or whatever, right? I don't know. This book really fucking nailed it. Anyway, sorry, we're waffling on for way too long. When next we come back, we will, I suppose, do a little bit of double crossing. Until next time, please take care of each other.